name is Aaron Portsmouth. I'm a revert Muslim from Wales. I've been Muslim for 1 year and 2 months. Going to church when we were kids, and then you'd learn, the stories from the Bible, you'd read the Bible, and you start asking yourself the same question often. So my life before Islam was, I guess you could say, like a usual Western sort of life, like going out with your mates. My thoughts on Islam before, I had my doubts, Didn't think good things, and that's the weird thing, because it's the way it's portrayed through the Western media. I think the seed was planted in my mind about Islam was when I was in Indonesia in 2022. I started learning about Islam. It was very logical. It made a lot of sense. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aaron Portsmouth. I'm a revert Muslim from Wales, Cardiff. And I've been Muslim for 1 year and 2 months. We were brought up as Christians, sort of in the church, going to church as kids. Sort of like just following Christianity to a certain degree, but never sort of was a Christian. It was just sort of having a go and seeing if it felt right, but it never really went anywhere. Yeah, my family, mum and dad are Christians. So we kind of went along with them. Like when we were going to church when we were kids, and then you'd learn, the stories from the Bible, you'd read the Bible. It was sort of like they were very free with it. They were like, you could, come along, and we chose to go along. It wasn't sort of like a forced thing at all. They always were like very good like that, sort of like, it's great if you come, but you're your own people, you can do your own thing. So that was the good bit, and then sort of got to a point then you make your own decision, and as I understand now, there's stuff that I was doubting, but sort of never really got raised. So my life before Islam was it was quite like, I guess you could say, like a usual Western sort of life, like going out with your mates and going to the pubs and stuff, and just sort of what I thought was enjoying myself. But after it all ends, you wake up the next day, you're feeling a bit rough and everything. You're like, right, what was that for, My wallet's empty, I'm not feeling too good. There's got to be something else in it, I sort of think as time went on, you keep doing those things, you start asking yourself the same question often. And it sort of gets you thinking a little bit more. My thoughts on Islam before becoming Muslim were more, I had my doubts, Didn't think good things. And that's the weird thing, because it's the way it's portrayed through the Western media. And it's like completely the opposite once you realize. Oppression was the word that was constantly in the head. And then it's sort of like once you realize it's like there is sort of no oppression. It's sort of what the media portrays. My brother started thinking into it first, but the first time I think the seed was planted in my mind about Islam was when I was in Indonesia in 2022. I was on the island of Lombok next to Bali, and during my time there, I met a brother called Kafi, and he is a Muslim, born Muslim, and I stayed with him and his family, and he introduced me. He was out and about, just like doing his thing, selling some things, and like bracelets and how they make their money over there. That's how I met him, was on the beachfront. And then we got chatting, and then next thing you know, I'm over on his island. I'm staying with him. He's showing me around his family, and he's like welcoming me with like open arms, which was one of the main things about my first impression about Islam. Like the first deep impression was meeting him and how open they are and how nice and friendly they are. And it's like, I don't even know the guy. And then I used to witness him sort of like praying, and because we used to like travel around the island together, and then he would be like, 2 secs, I just got to nip off. I feel like, where are you nipping off to? And then he's going to pray, wash, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is interesting, But I've always been open about it. Never been sort of like, what are you doing? I love to see these things. It's like something different. And that was really the first time when I started learning about Islam. It was very logical. It made a lot of sense, and it was very powerful. And it goes back to my experience with Kafi and Lombok. That's when the seed was planted. And I can see it so vividly now, but it's funny how I couldn't see it before, because I just wasn't in the mindset at all. So before Indonesia, I knew my brother was sort of looking into Islam and the Muslim like way of life. He'd be watching like YouTube videos or reading books. I'd see books and I'd be like, oh, okay, so I see there's something different, you know, in your room. Like, what's all this about? But in like sort of like a nice way, and we just chat about it. And I was like, I was interested to like see, know what's going on and see what you're up to, you know. When my brother told me he was going to become Muslim, he said, I think I'm going to go take my shahada. And I was like, what's a shahada, bro? I was like, and then he explains to me like what's going on, you know, what the process is, and that he wants to sort of change his life for the better. And that just made me smile, because I was just like, that's amazing. You don't really hear a lot of, especially from the West, you know, it's all like going out, you know, doing all these crazy things, and you're not feeling too good about yourself. When you hear like a younger generation sort of person say that they want to sort of better themselves and change their life, and it made me happy. It made me happy. Reese was going to do this to, sort of make this move, so he probably felt a bit nervous and stuff, because it was a new part of his life, like as you would, and it's a natural feeling. But I was quite excited and to see what it was all about. And then when we entered the masjid, it was amazing. Yeah, just like the brothers coming in, the first thing they say, "Salam alaikum," and like we're like, "How's it going?" Don't know what to say back. After that, we went into the library room, and then that's where Dr. Jabba and the other leaders of the mosque were, to explain to Reese sort of like the process, the shahada, and what it means to be a Muslim. Go over like sort of like the basics, the foundations. And yeah, I was just sitting there watching, sort of like taking it all in, just like, you know, new atmosphere, never been in a place like this before. Felt very calm though. And I looked over, and I think Reese he seemed pretty calm as well. So what was going through my head when I seen my brother praying was sort of like, this is new, because we knew sort of like the prayer from the Bible and when we were Christians, but to look at it from another perspective and another faith, it was sort of like, wow, this is it's more the way I thought about it, because I was sitting on a chair behind just watching everybody pray. It's like, that's so cool. They're all together, all doing the same fluid motions. It's very like uniformed. Seems very like proper. You know, you just taken your shahada, you just started a new chapter of your life, your whole life. So you could see that he felt really like sort of excited and ready to like see what the next, you know, steps were. I was excited for him, and maybe subconsciously I thought, if I like this, if I like the feel of it and the look of it, then I'll, you know, go the same way.
The work of supporting new Muslims continues year-round, and you can be part of it. Over the past 5 years, IRA has been blessed at being able to introduce Islam to more than 400,000 people. These individuals need our constant support as they navigate their new faith. Your contribution of £50 to support one new Muslim gives them essential guidance and support. Click the link below, share the video, and let's go back to that interview, shall we?
So when I started properly thinking about Islam and looking into it quite deeply was when my brother took his shahada, which was in November 23, and then I followed 5 months after. So I said to him that I would do Ramadan with him. Like I said, look, bro, I'm just going to do Ramadan with you. I want to do it. And he was like, he was happy. He was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So we did it. So I was non-Muslim then. He was like showing me, you know, what to do and stuff, and the food. I've never really fasted before, not for 30 days anyway. Probably gone like a day without food and thought it was like the worst thing in the world. But to do a month, it was like, whoa, that was pretty, it was pretty cool. And felt really sort of like peaceful. It wasn't sort of like, you just felt that sort of sense of calmness. And then I realized, I was like, there's something in this. This is sort of like, that was the turning point. I let the first week go past and was like, it feels too soon. I said to myself, I was like, you know, I feel like maybe I should become a Muslim. This feels, I want to carry on doing this. I said to myself, nah, it's too soon, man. But then that's the doubt then, and it creeps in. So I left it a week, and then the following week, I was in the butcher's, and I spoke to this guy he was just a normal guy in the shop doing his shopping. And then we got onto the topic about how I was thinking about Islam, and he was very excited, and I've never really had the experience of someone being excited when you tell them about something like that. And then he was just like, take your time, just slowly, don't rush. And that was interesting, because sometimes you get people like, just if you do it, just go for it. And there was no sort of like pushing or shoving. It was just like, take your time. Like if you need more time, just take your time. And he was teaching me a little bit. He was telling me a story about Isa, Jesus, and it was just really nice. And then I felt this like overwhelming feeling, called my brother and told him, bro, this is mad. Like I just feel this feeling. And he was like, no way this happened to me. And then I was like, God, this is mad. Yeah, it must be like real. That was the first like proper sort of like sign for me. It was like that overwhelming feeling that I needed to tell someone. And the first one I called was him. And I was like pretty excited, overwhelmed with like good feelings. And it was just like something's come over me, feel quite like really good about this. And he was like, no way, like this is amazing. His response was like really like he was really responsive to what I was saying, which made me even more responsive. And then we were like, yeah, this is class. But he was basically saying sort of his experience, like, this is what I felt. If it feels right for you, just go with it. Go with what you feel. Yeah, I sort of just like took his advice as well, and then just went with it. So I took my shahada in the same room that Rhys did in Dar al-Isra in Cardiff. Same mosque, same room, yeah. Same person, same setting, just different brother. And again, the same thing happened. People just coming in, and I was like, oh, it's the repeat again. I was like, who are these people? But it was so nice, people just coming in, because they obviously were so interested to witness people taking their shahada, like non-Muslims becoming Muslim. They were very excited. And the runners group on Sundays, Rhys used to go running with some brothers, and they were at my shahada as well. So when they were there, it was sort of added to the feeling of excitement and sort of like closeness, because they turned up and it was like, wow, they really care about people becoming Muslim. So just felt, it just to this date was this the feeling that you just don't get anywhere else. Yeah, my parents, they then reacted to me becoming Muslim. Yeah, I think they were a bit like, oh, like, what's your brother got you into now? And I was like, no, it's not. He hasn't got me into anything. He's sort of like, he's done a really nice thing. But it feels right. And I think over time they've sort of got to understand that. Just got to go with what you feel, although it could be something different to what your parents follow. To be fair, it's better than it's ever been. Yeah, alhamdulillah. I think my friends are a bit more understanding about Islam. They sort of realize that this is the way I'm going. They know my brother as well. I think at the start, people think it's like a phase. Like, oh, like what are you doing now? Like, when's this going to end? Are you going to, when are you coming back? Like, it's not one of those things you come back from. You just sort of take it on as like your lifestyle and just try and live Islam, that's the goal. So they can slowly sort of see that, but I think that's a journey, isn't it? Where they've just got to sort of understand it through time. They know, like, my stance on things now. Like, I won't go to those places that they go to, not because I don't want to see them, but because I don't want to be around that environment. And they understand this now. And it's amazing, because they were like, oh, okay. It wasn't so much of a big thing. Whereas I think in my head, I sort of made it a big thing. And because you're overthinking, you're thinking, what are they going to think? Are they going to, they're still going to be friends with you? But that's just your mind's filling in all the blanks, isn't it? But no, they were really good with it, to be fair. They're amazing. It's sort of like you understand each other, although you've gone completely different ways. Nothing's changed between like your mates. You're still mates. You're still friends. You still can do things together, just certain things won't do, you know? So what's standing out for me is the fact that all the brothers are just getting on so well, gelling so fast. Usually it takes a while to get to know somebody, but for some reason, Islam is just, it's beautiful because you just sort of like, you're all here for a purpose, you know why you're here, and slowly you get to know people, and it's happened quite quick, and the stuff we're learning is sort of, it's very, very good information, and the way it's sort of structured, the retreat is like just to drill it through to your brain, but you're all together, you're always together. You have points where you can have alone time, which is important, but the fact you're together and experiencing it as one, I think is a really good thing. I think that was pretty important, because I feel that that's the point in where people can go one way or go the other because of the dawah. If the dawah is not portrayed properly, then it can have like the reverse effect. So my advice to the non-Muslims out there thinking about taking their shahada and becoming Muslim, to just go for it. If it feels right, go for it. Make that step and you won't regret it, because it only gets better. The doubts will come, but sort of if you feel like it's right, go for it. That would be my advice.